Christopher Kent. Welcome to Flea Market Mania. We're here at the Berks County Heritage Center in Reading, Pennsylvania. Folks from all around have come to enjoy the 20th annual Berks County Heritage Festival, and they brought their antiques and flea market finds for us to appraise. So come on, let's get started. I'd like to welcome you to the show, sir, and your name is?
Will Standish.
Will Standish. What have you brought me here? What can you tell us about it?
That I got these both from my grandma in Pittsburgh.
Okay. So you inherited these from your grandmother in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What do you know about silver? Anything at all?
Mm-mm.
Okay, let me enlighten you then. We have a couple things going here with this piece. First of all, the nice thing about silver is it usually tells you who made it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And where we usually find that is in a place normally not automatically visible to the eye. So we flip things over, we turn things inside out, we look in there, we look there. And what this is telling us right here is that this was made by, I have it upside down, by Wallace Brothers Silver Company. It also has a standard code number on it as well. You paying attention here? It has a number right there below it as well, which is a stock number which describes, that number describes this piece, okay? So we could call up Wallace Silver and say, I've got this piece and this is the number. Say, oh yes, that was that lovely classic Grecian design silver plated water pitcher, which is exactly what you have here. This is a classic design styled from classic Greek design, way back when. From the weight of it, this would either be really great sterling silver, only if it had a mark on it that said sterling on it, okay? That meant it was 925 pure silver. This is silver plate, probably over nickel metal, or copper, or a white metal, but usually not over a white metal. So Wallace Silver did good stuff, so they probably did it over nickel. It's a very nice piece of good, classic shaped silver plate. Now, value-wise, we have a couple things we have to contend in. 9 times, and I have a picture that looks just like this, and the foot got bumped, because the foot got bumped being put down, so we have a little problem there. This can all be redone. If there's any wear in the silver plating at all, that can be replated as well. However, that's going to initially bring down the value as far as bucks are concerned. So when we're looking at this one, we're looking probably with that in mind at about $75 to $90 for this one. Okay, but it's a good one. I would say this is probably post Second World War. That would put it after 1945, but more likely probably 1945 to 1950 for that one. What do we have here?
Hand-painted china.
He's good. He's good. You'll have your own show. I see it in your future. What we also have here, one of the great things about porcelain, and porcelain of any quality, they're going to tell you exactly what you need to know. And down below here, we have, it says hand painted. It was made by Herend in Hungary. It also has series numbers and all sorts of identification numbers as well. They can go right to their copybook and say, yep, that's when this particular piece was made. Herend is probably one of the best and most famous manufacturers of porcelain in Hungary. There'll be some people that will argue that, but I think as far as I'm concerned, it's the best. This particular pattern is called the Rothschild bird. And you'll see in this design of these two birds holding this necklace, if it's there in some of them, and some it's lost, but they're looking over here for the necklace over here. It has been manufactured, Herend has been manufactured since the late 18th century. They're making it today, and this is a fairly contemporary piece. By contemporary, within the past 75 years for this particular piece. Herend, because it is so good and so well made, is frightfully expensive. Antique Herend is particularly expensive. This sort of whimsical piece with the little putti and the birds and so forth, if you bought this at retail, new, would be in the, if I've got this right, I would say bottom end 4, high end 8 bracket, which is a large window there. Antique, you would be looking bottom end 800, high end as high as $1,600 to $1,700 for this. So you got two good pieces. And do you have any more of this at home? Would you like to cut a deal? on this? No. All right. He's thinking about that. I want to thank you very much, Will, for bringing it in. It was a pleasure.
Welcome.
Thank you. This is the buyer's beware table, and there's always one in a flea market. So all you smart shoppers out there, keep your eyeballs open. Some good pieces here, though. I'm not knocking these. This is a nice one right here. This is new. How do I know it's new? Because it's got a little food warning on the bottom. That's a dead giveaway right there. Modeled nicely after an 18th century flower holder. It's a good look, and for the right price, you got yourself a deal. There's a yes, no, yes, no. No. This is a good one right here. Modeled after, also once again, new. It's telling me right in the bottom, right there, it's new. That means they're going to say, don't use with food. Why are they telling you that? Because there's lead base in the glaze. So be aware of that. But all that good Chinese export stuff that was coming out in the 18th century, that was also lead-based glaze too. So I guess that's why we can say we've got this problem now. Good little tea leaf design on here in an 18th century style bowl. Chinese originally. It's a good deal for, let's just look at the price here, 57 bucks. Not bad, not bad. You got what's called here an armorial plate. It's called an armorial plate because it's got someone's crest on the top there. Also 18th century. This is a copy, once again, and a good copy. What's not so good here? This is tobacco leaf, this pattern. This is not particularly good, but it's not bad. For a foot bath, stick 2 bottles in there with some ice, you got a nice little cooler. That's about all that I can see. Oh, these are good too. This is a nice one, good shape. They've not botched up this shape. This is pretty nice. Good 18th century Chinese export shape. Make a lamp out of it, have a nice life, and back to our show. But remember, buyer beware, keep your eyes open. Away in a manger, Christmas decorations when we come back. We're back, and I'm talking to
Sharon Kalenda.
Sharon. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And what a beautiful collection of Christmas ornaments and Christmas decks, as we call them in my family, and your creche scene here. Tell us about this.
Okay, this is a nice 11-piece German set. It was purchased from an estate auction that recently in Hartford, Connecticut, from a toy store that closed in 1969. So I would date this probably to the 50s.
Mm-hmm. There's a wonderful story of my mother buying the nativity scene at Woolworths. This sort of thing, the German imports as well, and just had enough money to catch the bus to go home. But at that time, as she said, these were costing about 45 cents to $1.25 a piece.
Right.
This is also pre-Second World War. Let us move us down here to these wonderful Christmas decorations. Tell us about these.
Okay, they came out of the same estate from the toy store. They're still new in the box.
In the box.
They're marked Germany, U.S. zone, so that dates them to around after the war, late 40s, maybe 1950s. And they come in a variety of colors. I had a lot more, but they're going like hotcakes.
But they're going like hotcakes because they're absolutely beautiful. And for the younger generation that's watching, who are probably more familiar with plastic, these are glass. And Germany produced some of the most beautiful glass ornaments they had forever since the Victorian time. And they really did just have the corner on the market. These are wonderful and unique as well. Absolutely beautiful. And you're selling these sets at what price?
Okay, these are only $24 a box.
What a great deal.
So that averages out to $2 a piece.
Well, that's a great deal. Oh, sorry, we got some hot sales right here. Look at these as well. Tell us about these. Let me bring them over here.
I call these the mushrooms. These are like $5 each.
Also German as well.
Right, German, U.S. zone.
And some of the things that you want to note with the German decorations, ornaments are, they will have overpainting on them, they'll have hand painting designs on top of the color process. The very early ones were done in mercury glass as well, and then colored mercury glass as well. Beautiful collection. I want to thank you for sharing them with us.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome you to the show. And your name is?
My name is Kitty Promos.
Kitty. Nice to meet you. What have you brought us here?
I brought you 2 Easter eggs.
2 Easter eggs. Oh, they're beautiful. What can you tell me? What kind of family history do we have here?
What kind of family history? Well, I was born in the country, and I moved to Reading when I was about 9 years old.
Yes.
And I couldn't speak English. And that was pretty difficult to go to school.
Yes, indeed.
And the kids all left when I'd get up and say my poem after every month. You know, you had to say a poem up front.
Yes, indeed. I remember those days.
I'd cry and threaten not to go back to school. But
yes.
my mother said, you have to go, it's the law. So I had to go back to school. And she said, now I'll keep you after school so that kids won't laugh at you. I said, then I cried some more. I thought I was being punished.
Oh dear.
So it was a tough growing up.
What can you tell me about these Easter eggs?
These Easter eggs I got from my mother-in-law, who got them from her mother-in-law.
Goodness.
And they are quite old.
Absolutely.
So I don't think you've seen any like this before, have you?
You rarely see them. Actually, they rarely stand the test of time. That's why to see these is very, very unusual and absolutely lovely. A lot of these Easter eggs were being manufactured in Europe. In Germany in particular. Germany seemed to have cornered the market as far as all the holidays were concerned, and they made some of the most beautiful decorations in the world.
Wonderful.
Christmas, Easter, you name it.
Yes.
Beautiful things. But what happened for the most part was the egg itself, which are made of glass, blown glass, would be made just plain.
Just plain.
And shipped to this country.
Oh.
And very often you could purchase this just plain, and you could paint your own scene on it.
Oh.
You could personalize them as
Wonderful.
well. So it is possible that someone in your family may have actually done these. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or, like this one, for example, the design would have been put on it, and you could have purchased it this way as well. They were not very, very expensive way back when, but these were very, very popular in the last quarter of the 19th century in particular, through till, and they were manufacturing through, I would say, the Second World War. And then things sort of evened off as far as the manufacturing of these, so it has made them more rare. Do you have any idea what kind of value, besides sentimental, which of course you can't put a price tag on?
Never, not a...
But what kind of value these have?
Oh, I don't know. I'd say maybe $100.
Well, you're in the ballpark as far as that goes, but I think conservatively we could probably put these at about $200 a piece. And I would definitely say by the look and feel of them, the beautiful way they've been blown, they're definitely from the last quarter of the 19th century. And the fact that you have kept them in such beautiful condition, kudos to you, is absolutely great. So you're easily looking $150, $200 for these, and they're beautiful. Very, very rare, very unusual, and thank you very much for sharing them with us. It was a pleasure.
And you're welcome.
Well, thank you.
This was a wonderful experience for me.
It was a treat. Thanks. Great to see these. And we're talking to
Stan Wallace.
Stan.
Yep.
Now you got two bags here, but I want to see what's in this bag in particular.
This bag, I took advantage of the off-season sale, and I got all Christmas ornaments. So
There you
I'm
go.
ready for this coming year.
You are a very klug sort of person to be buying these things now, as opposed to 2 days before Christmas.
Right,
when
and
they're
on
gonna
sale.
Go, absolutely. And you got them on sale too at the flea market.
I sure did.
This is fantastic. These are really nice. They're polished, they're glass, they're blown, hand colored. A deal. Now, what kind of deal did you get on these?
I got them for $1 each.
$1 each.
Yep.
All right, you guys, you out there listening? All right, you want to go out there and get them now. Now is the time to get those Christmas decks off season. You know, you got to be thinking buying skis in July, Christmas balls in April. Get out there, you can find them like my friend here did, and you got a great deal because these guys usually retail from anywhere between $15 and $20 a piece.
Well, that's good.
Aren't you the smart shopper?
I hope so.
I thank you very much for coming on the show.
When we come back, we're having dinner in miniature. You won't want to miss it. Come on back.
We're back, and I'm talking to
Monty Cornell.
Monty. Beautiful collection you've got right here of children's dinnerware. Tell us about it.
This is a children's flow blue dinner service, about 1839, 1840. The maker on it is unknown. It is a very large set, and it's unusual in that respect.
And I wouldn't even hazard a guess as to who the maker is on these.
No, it's very, very difficult to tell. The shape is in some of the books, but it's never been attributed to any particular maker.
Okay. What kind of price do we have on this?
This set is $2,500 for the 53, 54 pieces.
Absolutely in beautiful condition. The transferware is exquisitely done. And moving us down here, we got two more sets here, which are beautiful. Tell us about the bisque or Parianware on the top.
That's a Parianware dessert set, about 1840 again. It has the 6 dessert plates, the large cake stand, if you will, and then a couple of fruit plates. And it's unusual in the respect that there's been no decoration on it, and there's no glazing over the pottery itself.
And moving down to the blue and white, which is beautifully done.
That's a pretty well-known pattern, very collectible pattern called Monastery on the Hill by Hackwood. It's about 1830, I believe, and it's very unusual and very, very difficult to find and very collectible.
All of this this collection is from Staffordshire.
Yes.
Soft paste, which means if you've got any of this in existence, it's very rare because it's usually chipped, it's broken, and so forth, because it is a very fragile pottery. It's a magnificent collection. All of these English, done for the English market, done for export. Any way of telling?
Certain patterns are done with American views, and those were usually done for export to the United States. This set, I believe, was actually purchased over in England, and we brought it over ourselves. Other things, there are other patterns and such that were bought here in America for the American market.
Perfect. Your prices, I think, are very, very good. It's one of the telltale signs. 19th century children's wear is going up, up, up as far as collectors are concerned. So I think you're right on the mark, and I thank you very much for sharing them with us. I'd like to welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
And your name is?
Louise Pammer.
And a good firm hand grip. How nice. What can you tell me about what you brought here?
Well, this plate here, my mother had given to me, and she keeps telling me it's old, so I don't know too much history about that. This, my girlfriend passed away probably 17 years ago and left it in her will for me. I have 12 of the plates.
Wow.
Yes.
How nice.
No other pieces, though. I don't know if any pieces come with it or did come with it.
It's possible, but the fact that you have 12 plates intact couldn't be better. Let's start with this one right here. This is actually made by Homer Laughlin, who's very, very famous pottery maker, made decorative pottery, made art pottery, made all sorts of things. But one of the things that he did that a lot of people aren't familiar with is he made this profile or cameo porcelains. His porcelain was a heavy grade porcelain, like a demi porcelain. And we see on the back, faintly here, Homer Laughlin. And this was manufactured in or about the first quarter-esque of this century, the 20th century, excuse me, we're the 21st century now, the 20th century. And it's very nice that you've got the marking here. It's even telling us the name of the subject matter on the other side. The cameos that appear on these were usually the belles of the day, and they were very stylized beauties, and they were usually parts of a series of plates. So she would have been one of several beautiful ladies done in profile on these plates. These are purely decorative plates. They were usually never meant to be used. They were meant for display for the most part, and as a result of them, most of them are in very good condition. You have a little bit of discoloration here. I'm not particularly bothered by that. Sometimes this transfer decoration on the plate would have hand coloring as well. Yours is all the color on this for the most part has been transferred in the process. We have no handwork on this because sometimes you will see a small signature on the side when artists would be contracted by the Homer Laughlin company to do handwork and detail work. This one is not signed, and that's okay. As far as the price is concerned, the gilding is good and intact. We like that. You're looking at about $125 for this particular plate. Good. Now let's move to this one, because this particular plate has enormous appeal. The fact that you have a dozen is like money in the bank. Let's flip over to the back of this, because usually most good potteries, porcelains, are going to tell you everything you need to know right here. This is telling us it's been made by the Adams Company, which was a very famous porcelain maker in England. It's English ironstone. The grade of this is a nice heavy grade, which is good, but it's not like a lot of the Mason or Johnson ironstone, which is like iron. It's just heavy, heavy, heavy. This is a very nice weight to it. So it's a medium grade porcelain that's been used in this. They do have a tendency to be rather fragile, though. They will chip. So what we say with antique plates, and this plate is coming probably, based on the mark here, I would put this in the last quarter of the 19th century, high Victorian time. Scenic pictures, particularly done in blue and white, are highly, highly collectible. You're probably familiar with the flow blues, which is that beautiful blurry sort of blue. These blue and whites tend to get put into those categories when we have a mass appeal as far as collectibles are concerned. This is a an antique plate, one of 12, in these beautiful pastoral scenes. Are all the scenes different on the plates?
No, they're all the same.
All the
There's
same.
some that are faded more. The blue is more prevalent.
Okay. We like the cobalt to be good, sharp, dark blue. That's what a lot of collectors are looking for. This single plate, and also the fact that it's one of 12, is absolutely wonderful. I would put this plate in the blue and white collection at about $200 a piece
Oh my
for
goodness.
these. So you have a veritable small fortune
Oh,
in your
good.
collection, and how lucky you were to have received those.
Well, thank
A
you.
beautiful gift and beautiful plates. And thank you very much for bringing them.
Thank you so
It's been a
much.
treat. Thank
Yes,
you.
it was a treat.
Are you in there? We're here with Scarlett, and she's got an incredible collection of porcelain. Scarlett, tell us all about it.
Well, this set is a set of KPM, just German, very fine, of the same ilk as Meissen.
Now, KPM is what? Kaiser
Kaiser
Porcelain
Porcelain.
Manufacturer.
You said.
Yeah.
And this particular set was, I believe, commissioned for an IBM executive in the early part of this century. It was never used. Still has some of the paper labels. It's quite unique. It has the the salts. These are master salts, which are quite charming. The
With
cupids.
the cupids.
Mhm.
Now,
Incredibly big tureen, big tureen undercover, a huge fish platter, 36 dinner plates. You'll notice there are no cups and saucers. Oftentimes this was the case. They used their little demi-tasses.
in another service.
Exactly.
Completely another coffee
Exactly.
service. Now, tell us, for those people who collect things like Meissen and Dresden and so forth, how does this compare? How does it stack up in comparison with them?
It's premium. It's as good as any.
Top of the line.
Yes, yes.
Top of the line. Now, the crucial question that everybody wants to know out there is, a service like this, can you put a price tag on it? And what kind of price would somebody be expected to pay?
It depends where you would shop. Here,
Okay.
this particular set is $6,500.
$6,500.
In a New York store, I suspect it would be at least twice
What's
that.
that? $6,500 for how many
Yes.
place settings?
It's 36 dinner plates, but it's service for 12 here
Service for
on this shelf.
Incredible.
But this tureen, if you had to buy it individually, would be several $1,000s.
Absolutely. So, guys, you're getting a deal. You need to come.
Yeah, this is a bargain.
Talk to Scarlett right here, because this is a bargain.
It's a great starter set.
Perfect. And heck, sky's the limit after
Indeed.
that. Scarlett, thanks so much for
You're
sharing your
welcome.
KPM porcelain with us.
Welcome.